Whenever you're ready.
Today more than ever, teenagers have a complete access to technology on an everyday basis. Since the creation of technology, many advancements have been made, and teenagers have used these advancements to their advantage, and teenagers have adapted to these and used these to their advantage. Teenagers have more knowledge regarding technology when compared to any other age group, and this fact comes with both its advantages and disadvantages. It is easy to say that without technology, communication today would not be as advanced as it is. However, it is also easy to say that technology has negatively affected communication in America as well. Hi, my name is Trotter, and today I'm going to be discussing with you the question, in the future, how will the increase of technology affect the amount of face-to-face communication among teenagers? According to the National Communication Association, communication is defined as the way people use messages to generate meanings within a variety of contexts. Many people hear the word communication and associate it solely with verbal communication. However, there are many other forms. These include both verbal and nonverbal, visual, written, and my main focus for today, face-to-face communication. Face-to-face communication is one of the most successful forms because it allows people within the conversation to pick up on other aspects of communication. These aspects include body language and the tone of the speaker. These nonverbal cues are able to be interpreted accurately through face-to-face communication, which is not able to be done with communication through technology. Research conducted by Ashton College furthered these points by stating that the effectiveness of a conversation is increased if face-to-face communication is used. Benefits of face-to-face communication are also seen greatly in the workplace. Carol Goman, a member of the Institute for Management Studies, states that the use of face-to-face communication in professional meetings is more successful and professional when compared to other forms. Like I mentioned before, face-to-face communication allows those within the conversation to interpret nonverbal cues, which can further be used in the workplace to create better and more professional relationships with your coworkers. If teenagers can increase their amount of face-to-face communication today, their potential job opportunities in the future could also increase as well. There are many pros of face-to-face communication. However, many will argue that an obvious con is that communication through technology is easier to access at your fingertips, and it is the future of American society. In our stimulus packet, there was a link found to a TED Talk by Jane McGonigal, a game designer, and she further supports technology, but more specifically gaming, where she states that it allows users the ability to collaborate and communicate at any given time, which is not able to be done with communication through technology. Today, teens spend more time on technology than any other activity available. According to research conducted by Pew Research Center, 45% of teenagers say that they use technology almost constantly throughout the day. This graph, also by Pew Research Center, further supports my claim that many teens do not go without technology. More specifically, 88% of teens say they have access to a desktop or laptop computer, and nearly 95% say they have access to a smartphone. This increased use of technology among teenagers has increased the amount of indirect communication, and this can also be correlated to the increased use of social media platforms among teenagers. In our stimulus packet, there was an article by Edward Kessler, founder and director of the Wolf Institute and a leading thinker in interfaith relations. And he states that social media refers to the use of web-based mobile technologies that turn communication into an interactive dialogue. There are numerous social media platforms available to teenagers today. Some of these include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. Social media allows for unique communication between teenagers and between people around the world. However, it also forces the users to communicate solely behind a computer or smart device screen. There are many pros and cons of social media. However, many cons are seen through the teenage use because they abuse the actual purpose of social media. The Child Mind Institute states that the increased amount of cyberbullying, stalking, and low self-esteem is greatly due to the increased use of social media among teenagers because they abuse the social media purposes. The increase of technology and social media among teenagers has also forced the increased use of indirect communication, which is why solutions need to be implemented in order to increase the amount of face-to-face communication among teenagers. Dana DeVice, a psychologist, states that teens are mainly naive when it comes to knowledge regarding how technology really affects them. A proposed solution to increase the amount of face-to-face communication is the modeling of healthy relationship and communication skills as a parent or guardian. As parents or guardians model these skills, children could potentially adapt and adhere to the same skills, which would improve their communication skills in general. As they improve their communication skills in the future, their face-to-face communication abilities could increase, which could potentially increase their job opportunities and the way that they communicate within their society. An implication and limitation to this solution is that not all adults have the current knowledge of proper communication skills, and many have varying opinions as to what is good communication skill and what is a bad communication skill. Therefore, it is not possible for all children to learn through their parents or guardians. The most effective solution to increase the amount of face-to-face communication among teenagers is to limit the screen time. This forces teens to communicate in other ways other than through technology, and it also allows them to develop more effective communication skills. In the image on the right, we see that smartphone companies today, like Apple, are creating more ways to limit the time spent on the screen. In this new feature by Apple, it's called Screen Time, and it allows the user to view how many hours they spend on a specific app a day, and it also allows them to see how many hours they spend on the phone during the week. Apple notifies the user once a week, and it gives them a percentage. This would allow the user to know how much they use, and if parents and guardians put limitations to the time screen, or the time spent on the screen, the children could see that they are spending more time than necessary on the telephone screen. A limitation and implication is that limiting the time will not completely ensure that the children is using the extra time away from the technology to spend communicating effectively with others. In conclusion, face-to-face communication is drastically decreasing among the teenage age group, and this is greatly due to this time spent on the screen. In order to increase the amount of face-to-face communication, parents or guardians should limit the screen time, which will force them to communicate with others more effectively, which could potentially increase their amount of face-to-face communication among teens. Technology is constantly improving and changing, which is why solutions need to be implemented today in order to increase the amount of face-to-face communication among teenagers. Thank you for your time.
Okay. What information did you need that you weren't able to find or locate, and then how did you try to go about finding that information?
I found an article by Pew Research Center, and it stated that it was a graph, and it stated that many teens believe that technology doesn't negatively affect them, and it also was a graph stating how parents and teenagers vary on this opinion. Many adults and parents view that technology does in fact negatively affect children and the way that they communicate, but teens do not see that as negative. And I was trying to find more like personal stories of both parents and children as to why they believe either that it did affect them negatively or that it didn't, but I was not able to find these personal stories from either parents or children.
Okay. What advice would you give for other researchers who consider this topic?
For people that would consider this topic, I would advise them to look more into face-to-face, not only face-to-face communication, but also communication in general. I feel that technology has negatively affected many aspects of a teenage life, and face-to-face communication is not only the main contributor to this. I feel that there are many other forms of communication that have negatively affected as well. And if they could broaden the topic more and just do communication in general, I think they would find more research as to how negatively teenagers are impacted by the increases in technology.
Okay, thank you.